His hand brushed against mine, and it felt like fire. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears, loud and restless. We were sitting too close, our knees touching under the table, his eyes locked on me like he was starving. He leaned in, lips just inches away, and whispered my name in a way that made my whole body shiver. I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have let it get this far. But that night, in the dim light of his apartment, with the city noise humming outside the window, it felt like everything inside me wanted to break free. I know what you're thinking, did I let it happen? Did I give in? Before I tell you, let me stop here for a moment. If you're listening to my story right now, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and hit that subscribe button because what I'm about to reveal is not something I've ever said out loud. I'm keeping myself anonymous for a reason. Now, let's go back. Back to how this all started. It was supposed to be simple, just a harmless friendship. He was someone I met at the gym, a new member who always worked out around the same time I did. I'd see him on the treadmill, headphones in, sweat dripping down his neck, that kind of quiet confidence men carry when they know people are watching them. At first, I didn't pay much attention. I was a married woman, living in the suburbs of Atlanta, with a decent job and a husband who believed I was the most loyal woman alive. But little by little, this stranger started slipping into my daily thoughts. He noticed me. He noticed everything. New shoes? He'd ask with a grin. Your form looks strong today. Coffee after this? The way he looked at me was different from how my husband looked at me. My husband loved me, yes, but his eyes didn't burn. This man's eyes, let's call him Jason, looked at me like I was the only woman in the world. One day, he asked for my number. I don't even know why I gave it to him. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was loneliness. Or maybe it was the way he made me feel alive again. Whatever the reason, that was the beginning of a dangerous game. At first, the texts were light. Jason, did you make it home safe? Me, yes. You? Jason, thinking about you already. Those words made me blush like a schoolgirl. I would hide my smile when my husband walked into the room, pretending I was just scrolling through social media. But then, I decided to test something. I had heard people say, ignore a man and he'll chase harder. I wanted to see if it was true. Maybe it was ego, maybe it was me wanting control, but one night, after Jason sent me a long message about how he wanted to see me, I didn't reply. That was the start of my 30-day silence. The first 2 days were easy. I ignored his texts, his calls, even when he sent a picture of his dinner, pretending it was nothing serious. By day 3, he started calling more. By day 4, he was asking if he had done something wrong. By day 5, I could feel his frustration bleeding through his words. And that night, the night I almost gave in, was the result of me playing with fire. I had ignored him for a week straight, and when I finally walked into that gym again, he was waiting. He didn't yell. He didn't beg. He just walked up to me, grabbed my arm gently but firmly, and said, "Why are you doing this to me?" My body trembled. Nobody had ever wanted me like that before, not even my husband. I told myself to walk away, but instead, I followed him out to his car after the gym. We sat inside, the air thick with silence, his hand resting on the gearshift, mine nervously twisting the strap of my bag. Then he leaned closer. His cologne was intoxicating. His lips brushed against my ear when he whispered, "Tell me to stop, and I'll stop. But if you don't..." I couldn't breathe. My heart was racing. My body screamed for him, but my mind screamed for caution. That was the night I almost gave in. The night I realized ignoring a man can make him burn for you, but it can also burn you. And that's how it started. 30 days of silence. 30 days of pushing him away while secretly craving him more than anything. But let me warn you, what happens when you ignore a man for that long isn't just about control. It's about obsession, secrets, and the kind of fire you can't put out once it starts. When I first decided to ignore Jason, I thought it would be easy. I thought it would be a fun little test, a way to see just how much power I really had over him. In my mind, it was simple. If he wanted me as badly as he claimed, then 30 days of silence would drive him crazy. What I didn't realize at the time was that it would drive me crazy too. The first night wasn't too hard. His text came around 10:30 p.m. like it always did. "What are you wearing to bed?" That was his usual way of slipping into something more intense. Normally, I would have sent him something teasing, a one-word answer like guess, but instead, I placed my phone face down on the nightstand and turned over in bed. My husband was asleep beside me, his breathing steady, and for the first time I felt a secret thrill run through me. I was ignoring another man. And he had no idea why. By day 2, Jason's messages became more frequent. He texted me in the morning. "Coffee?" Then again around lunch. "You disappeared on me. Everything okay?" I read the messages but didn't reply. At work, I found myself checking my phone every 10 minutes, pretending not to care, but the truth was, I loved seeing his name light up my screen. It was proof that he was thinking about me, even when I wasn't giving him attention. That night, he called. I watched the phone vibrate on the dresser, my heart pounding as though answering it would set off an alarm. My husband was brushing his teeth in the bathroom, and the thought of him walking in and catching me froze my hand. I let it ring until it stopped. Seconds later, Jason texted. "Why are you ignoring me?" That was when the game officially started. By day 3, he was restless. His messages turned longer, almost pleading. "I don't know what I did, but if I upset you, tell me. Don't shut me out like this." Part of me wanted to type back, "You didn't do anything wrong." But I held myself back. The more I ignored, the more he came after me. I started to realize something about men. When you take away the attention they're used to, they don't just give up. They chase harder. I would walk into the gym and feel his eyes burning into me. He didn't confront me, not yet, but I could feel the tension. He'd work out near me, sometimes on the machine right next to mine, his breathing loud, his movements sharp. I refused to look at him. That night, he texted again. "I saw you today. You couldn't even say hi?" That hurt. I closed my eyes, biting my lip, and let the phone fall from my hand. My husband reached over, kissed me goodnight, and I smiled as though everything was normal. But inside, I was buzzing. Day 4 was when things started to shift. Jason wasn't just confused anymore, he was getting frustrated. He left me a voice message, his tone deeper, almost demanding. "If you don't want me, just say it. Don't play with me like this. You know I want you. You know I can't stop thinking about you." Hearing his voice made my whole body ache. I replayed that message 3 times before deleting it, terrified my husband might see it. I started to wonder if I was pushing too far. But instead of stopping, I doubled down. By day 5, Jason wasn't hiding his desperation. He sent flowers to my office, red roses in a glass vase with no card. My coworker smiled knowingly, teasing me about my secret admirer. I laughed it off, pretending I didn't know who sent them, but inside, my heart raced. That evening, another text. "I sent those to remind you I'm not going anywhere. You can ignore me, but I'm still here." I stared at those words for a long time. He wasn't backing down. He was digging in. And the craziest part? I liked it. By the weekend, day 6 and 7, things reached a peak. Saturday morning, I walked into the gym, and he was already there, leaning against the front desk, waiting for me. He didn't smile this time. His jaw was tight, his eyes narrowed. "Really?" He asked softly, so no one else could hear. "You're just going to pretend I don't exist?" My breath caught. I wanted to break, to tell him everything, but instead, I brushed past him with a cool, "I'm here to work out, not talk." That one line seemed to wound him deeper than silence ever could. For the rest of the session, he stayed at a distance, but I could feel the storm brewing in him. Later that night, another message came. You don't get it, do you? I want you. I need you. And you ignoring me isn't going to change that. By the end of week 1, I realized something important. Ignoring a man doesn't make him disappear. It doesn't make him lose interest. If anything, it makes him obsessed. But obsession is dangerous. It's addictive for the one being chased, and destructive for the one doing the chasing. And in those 7 days, I learned that I liked being chased more than I should have. I liked the power, the secrecy, the thrill of knowing I could make a grown man unravel with nothing but silence. But I also knew this game couldn't last forever. Something had to give. Before I go on, let me remind you, if you're still listening, hit that like button, share this story with someone who would understand, and make sure you subscribe. Because what happened in the weeks that followed was nothing short of explosive. Week 1 was just the beginning. He wasn't done chasing. And I wasn't done ignoring. The real danger was still ahead. By the time the second week rolled around, I thought Jason would get tired of chasing me. Most men do. Ignore them long enough, and they back away with wounded pride, their ego too fragile to handle rejection. But Jason wasn't like most men. Instead of fading into silence, his attention only grew louder. On day 8, I opened my phone to 3 missed calls and 5 texts before 9 a.m. Good morning, beautiful. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm not quitting. Meet me tonight. Just 10 minutes. I deleted the messages quickly, but not before reading them twice. The boldness in his words sent a thrill down my spine. He wasn't angry anymore, he was restless, desperate, on edge. When I ignored him again, he tried a different angle. He sent a photo of himself at the gym, shirt damp with sweat, muscles flexing as he held up his phone like a mirror shot. No caption. No explanation. Just his body. I should have rolled my eyes. Instead, I stared at it longer than I should have, biting my lip while my husband cooked breakfast in the kitchen. Day 9 was worse. Jason showed up at my office building. He didn't come inside, thank God, but I saw him from the window, leaning against his car, sunglasses on, waiting. My chest tightened. He wasn't supposed to blur into my real life. This was supposed to be a private game, something hidden behind screens and stolen moments. At lunch, he sent a text. I know you see me. Come down. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I didn't go. I sat at my desk pretending to work, my hands trembling. A part of me wanted to run downstairs and throw myself into his arms, but the other part, the cautious, married woman part, knew how reckless that would be. When I still didn't show, he finally drove off. But later that night, another message came. You can ignore me, but I'll always find a way to be close to you. By day 10, his obsession started showing in little ways. I logged onto Facebook, and suddenly his name was everywhere. He liked old photos of mine, pictures from years ago, back when my hair was shorter, back when I barely knew him. He commented on posts I hadn't thought about in ages, simple things like beautiful smile or still stunning. It felt invasive, like he was reaching into parts of my life I hadn't invited him into. But deep down, I couldn't deny the rush it gave me. It was proof that my silence wasn't pushing him away, it was pulling him deeper. Day 11 was a close call. My husband and I were having dinner when my phone lit up on the table. Jason's name flashed across the screen. My heart nearly stopped. I grabbed the phone so fast, my husband barely noticed, but the panic on my face must have shown. Work, I muttered, flipping the screen down before he could read it. Jason had sent. I can't stop thinking about you. I dream about you every night. I need you. I excused myself, locked the bathroom door, and leaned against the sink, breathing hard. My hands shook as I reread his words. I wanted to reply. God, I wanted to. But I didn't. I couldn't. When I came back to the table, my husband smiled and poured me more wine. He had no idea. Day 12, Jason left a note on my car at the gym. Just a small piece of paper tucked under the wiper. My stomach dropped when I saw it, terrified someone else might notice. The note read, "You can run from me in public, but you can't hide from what's between us. I'll wait." I stuffed it in my bag before anyone saw and drove off, my hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I wanted to be angry, but the truth was, I was flattered. A part of me even smiled. By day 13, I started to realize something dangerous. I wasn't just playing a game anymore. I was feeding him. My silence wasn't pushing him away, it was fueling him, giving him a reason to fight harder. And here's the secret I haven't admitted until now, I liked it. I liked feeling wanted that much. I liked knowing I could make a man unravel with nothing but my absence. That evening, I caught myself scrolling through his old photos on Instagram, something I had no business doing. My husband was on the couch watching football, completely unaware that his wife was staring at another man's smile, another man's body, another man's life. I closed the app quickly, guilt burning in my chest. But the damage was done. I wasn't just ignoring Jason anymore, I was starting to obsess over him too. Day 14, the end of week 2, was the climax. I was leaving the gym, and there he was, leaning against his car again, arms crossed, waiting. This time, I couldn't just slip past him. He caught my wrist gently, his touch warm against my skin. "Why are you doing this to me?" he asked, his voice low, rough. I froze. People were walking around us, but in that moment, it felt like the whole world disappeared. My body reacted before my brain could, my pulse quickened, my breath shortened, my knees went weak. I pulled my wrist away quickly, whispering, "You need to stop." But my eyes gave me away. I could feel it, the way I looked at him wasn't the way a woman looks at someone she wants to avoid. It was hunger. It was temptation. He saw it too. He smirked, leaning closer. "You don't want me to stop." I turned and walked away before I could prove him right. But the truth is, he wasn't wrong. By the end of week 2, I wasn't in control anymore. I told myself I was winning the game, that my silence made me powerful, but the truth was, Jason was pulling me into something I couldn't escape. And I had no idea how dangerous it was about to get. High voltage, if you're still here listening to this, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who would understand, and subscribe to the channel. Because the deeper I went, the more I realized, ignoring a man for too long doesn't just make him chase. It makes him obsessed. And obsession can ruin everything. By the time week 3 began, I thought maybe Jason would give up. Maybe he would finally see that my silence meant I wasn't interested. Maybe he'd stop calling, stop waiting for me outside the gym, stop sending me those messages that made my heart race and my palms sweat. But no. Instead of cooling down, he was getting hotter. And I could feel myself cracking. Day 15, he sent me a long text. Longer than anything he'd written before. "I don't know what you want from me. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Every time my phone vibrates, I hope it's you. Every song, every place, every moment makes me think of you. Do you want me to go crazy? Because that's where I'm headed. Just tell me what I did wrong." I read that message 3 times. My finger hovered over the keyboard, ready to type back. I wanted to say, "You didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one playing the game." But I stopped myself. I put the phone face down and told myself to stay strong. That night, my husband kissed me goodnight, rolled over, and fell asleep within minutes. I lay there wide awake, staring at the ceiling, Jason's words echoing in my head. Day 16, he escalated again. I got to work and found another note tucked under my windshield wiper. This one was shorter, sharper. "You can ignore me, but you can't erase what's between us." I shoved the note into my purse quickly before anyone could see, but my hands were shaking. He wasn't just obsessed anymore. He was determined. Later that day, another text came. "One night. That's all I'm asking. One night, and I'll never bother you again. I stared at those words for a long time, my heart pounding. I knew it was a lie. One night wouldn't be enough. Not for him. Not for me. Day 17, I started avoiding the gym. I told my husband I was too tired, too busy with work, too stressed. The truth was, I couldn't face Jason. Not when I could feel myself slipping. Not when I knew if he cornered me again, I might not walk away. But he noticed. Of course he did. That evening, another message. Why aren't you at the gym? Don't tell me you're hiding from me. I didn't answer, but my silence spoke louder than words. Day 18 was the first time he showed up near my house. Not directly, he wasn't that reckless, but I saw his car parked 2 streets over when I went out to take the trash. My stomach dropped. He was watching me. He hadn't crossed the line yet, but he was close. Too close. I went back inside, my hands trembling, forcing a smile when my husband asked if I was okay. I lied, of course. I always lied. That night, Jason sent me another voice message. His voice was hoarse, almost broken. I'm losing my mind here. I don't care if you're married. I don't care about the risk. I just want you. I need you. Please. Hearing his desperation made my chest ache. I wanted to reply. I wanted to tell him he wasn't alone in his obsession. But I stayed silent. Barely. Day 19 was the breaking point for him. I was walking out of the grocery store, bags in hand, when I saw him leaning against a lamppost near the parking lot. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't trying to charm me. He just stared, his jaw tight, his eyes burning into me. I froze, my throat dry. Talk to me, he said under his breath as I walked past. Just once. That's all I'm asking. People were around, so I couldn't risk a scene. I shook my head, whispered, not here, and kept walking. His voice followed me, low and sharp. You're going to regret this. My knees nearly gave out. For the first time, I felt fear. Not of him hurting me, but of me giving in. Because at that moment, when he looked at me like I was oxygen and he was suffocating, I wanted nothing more than to drop those bags and fall into his arms. Day 20, I broke my own rule. I didn't reply to his texts, but I typed one out. Just one. My thumb hovered over send for a solid minute before I deleted it. But in that moment, I knew I was slipping. My silence wasn't about power anymore. It was about survival. Jason wasn't giving up, and I wasn't strong enough to keep ignoring forever. Day 21, the end of week 3, was when everything boiled over. I was at the gym again for the first time in days, trying to act normal. I thought maybe he wouldn't show. Maybe he'd finally let it go. But the second I stepped off the treadmill, he was there, blocking my path. Enough, he whispered, his face inches from mine. 3 weeks. Do you know what that's done to me? Do you even care? My chest heaved. My pulse raced. I could feel the heat rolling off him, smell the sweat and cologne on his skin. Jason, please, I whispered, my voice trembling. Someone will hear. He leaned closer, his lips grazing my ear. I don't care. I'll take you right here if you don't stop me. For a split second, I almost let him. My body screamed yes while my mind screamed no. I pulled away, shaking my head, and rushed into the locker room before I could do something reckless. That night, lying in bed beside my husband, I couldn't sleep. My phone buzzed under the pillow with Jason's latest message. You win. I can't take it anymore. But if you don't reply soon, I'm coming for you. One way or another. I stared at the screen, my whole body trembling. I had ignored him for 21 days, and now I was standing at the edge of a cliff. I knew I couldn't hold out much longer. High voltage, if you're still with me, take a second, like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Because the truth is, ignoring a man for this long doesn't just make him want you. It makes him lose control. And the real question was, what would happen on day 30, when I finally snapped? The last week felt like a countdown I couldn't escape. 22 days, 25 days, 29 days, I marked each one in my head like I was walking toward a finish line I didn't want to cross. Every day Jason got bolder, and every day I felt myself breaking a little more. My silence wasn't power anymore. It was torture, both for him and for me. On day 25, he stopped texting me. At first, I thought maybe he had finally given up. But that night, I saw his car parked down the street from my house again. Just sitting there. Engine off. Lights out. Watching. I pulled the curtains closed and told myself I was imagining it. But my stomach twisted. Day 26, he broke the silence with a single message. I'm not leaving. Not until you face me. I threw my phone onto the bed and paced the room, my chest tight. My husband was downstairs watching TV, oblivious. If he ever found out about this, about Jason, about the texts, about the way I had fed this obsession, everything would collapse. My marriage. My home. My carefully built life. But the truth was, I didn't want Jason to stop. Not really. Because as much as I feared him, I craved him too. By day 28, my body was restless. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Every vibration of my phone sent a shock through me. I told myself I was strong, that I could make it all the way to day 30 without giving in. But deep down, I knew I was lying. That night, Jason sent me another voice message. His voice was low, ragged, almost broken. I can't do this anymore. 30 days of silence? You don't know what that does to a man. I don't just want you, I need you. And if you keep pushing me away, I don't know what I'll do. I replayed it 3 times before deleting it. My hands shook. My chest burned. I was standing on the edge of something dangerous, and I knew one wrong step would send me over. Day 29, I avoided him completely. No gym. No errands. No risks. I stayed home, sitting on the porch with a glass of wine, pretending everything was normal. But I could feel it, the storm brewing. Jason was too quiet. Too still. And silence from him was more dangerous than his obsession. Then came day 30. I woke up restless, my chest heavy. My husband left early for work, kissing my forehead before walking out the door. The second the house was quiet, I picked up my phone and stared at Jason's name. 30 days. I had ignored him for 30 days. I had tested his patience, his pride, his sanity. And now, it was time to find out what that had done to him. I sent one text. Just one. Come over. He was at my door within 20 minutes. When I opened it, he didn't speak. He just stood there, his eyes blazing, his chest rising and falling like he had been holding his breath for weeks. I stepped aside, and he walked in without hesitation. The air between us was electric. I could feel it buzzing against my skin. For a moment, we just stared at each other, the silence louder than words. Then he closed the space between us in 2 steps. His hands gripped my waist, his mouth crashed against mine, and all the walls I had built over the last month came crumbling down in an instant. I should have stopped him. I should have pushed him away. But after 30 days of silence, 30 days of wanting and denying, I couldn't hold back anymore. I kissed him back. Hard. Desperate. Hungry. We didn't speak. Words weren't needed. Everything we had been holding back, the texts, the notes, the late-night calls, the obsession, it all exploded in that moment. His hands were everywhere, rough and demanding, like he was trying to claim every inch of me he had been denied. And I let him. God help me, I let him. It wasn't love. It wasn't romance. It was release. Pure, raw release after weeks of torment. When it was over, we just sat there, breathing hard, our bodies pressed together, sweat cooling on our skin. For the first time in 30 days, Jason smiled. A slow, satisfied smile. You see? He whispered. You couldn't ignore me forever. And he was right. After he left, I sat in the quiet of my living room, my heart still racing, my body still trembling. My husband would be home in a few hours. I would cook dinner, kiss him hello, and pretend like nothing had happened. But I knew better. I knew that ignoring Jason for 30 days hadn't killed his desire. It had only made it stronger. And when I finally broke, when I finally gave in, the fire we lit together was one that couldn't be put out. So here I am, telling you this story anonymously, because I can't tell anyone else. Not my husband. Not my friends. Not even myself in the mirror sometimes. What happens when you ignore a man for 30 days? He doesn't disappear. He doesn't lose interest. He becomes obsessed. And when obsession meets silence, the ending is never clean. It's fire. It's chaos. It's a secret that lives in your chest and burns every time you remember it. And believe me, I remember every second. Fire, if you've made it to the end of my story, do me a favor, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because this isn't the only secret I have. And trust me, the next one is even darker.